and welcome to the Laugh Daily Podcast. This is a very special edition. We are down to 2 because someone decides to film.
Who could that be? Who are we missing today?
Well, I'm here.
And I'm here, which means it would lead them back home. No, but Justin is right now currently filming a video for the channel.
Very special.
But it's gonna. He's been filming since 8 a.m. It's what time is it? It's 1. So he's been at it for a while.
Cold.
Oh, that's a great point. Let's talk about it. Today, the high is like 10. The current weather, I'm looking at it right now, it says it's 9 degrees and feels like -8 because of the wind.
That's crazy.
So that's why we're bundled up right now, because even inside we're still cold because we were outside. Got my beanie on, got my sweater.
If you had to super hot weather or super cold weather, which one can you deal with?
Cold.
Why?
Well, we were talking about this. When you're cold, you can always add layers.
Yes.
There's the hot hands. You can get thermal socks, electric
Blanket.
socks.
And they have these electric gloves too. Like there's electric everything.
Yeah,
Don't know how that works if it gets wet.
But when you're too hot, there just gets to a point where you can't do anything about it.
You can only get so naked. Write that down.
Yep, and then you just sweat.
Just miserable.
But anyways, what are we talking about today?
Today we have a plethora of subjects that I've forgotten.
Great, and good segue. I'll tell them what we're talking about. So one of the users submitted this, talking about what we do when YouTube videos fail or don't go according to plan, which that has happened many times through a span of an entire decade on YouTube. But we'll also give you guys some real life applications.
Yes.
In this topic, so prepare for that. But
be prepared.
First, we're going to start off with the sentence game.
Oh, I'm going to wreck that.
Like in a good way? Like
it's
swish
open,
a 3?
It's open to interpretation.
Okay. So do you want to start?
Wait. Stop. Now, when you say start, just start a sentence. Just start a word.
A word, because we're going to do a full sentence, but it just goes back and forth. It's going to
go.
be like a story, but
Okay.
you're starting off.
One
Boy
named
Timothy
had
a
sensational
vacation
this
weekend
and
next
year.
he
Decided
not
to
go
back
to
this
place
because
of
rats. Okay. Hold on.
To recap, Timothy had a sensational vacation. He chose not to go back to that place because it had rats. That's the gist I got out of it.
I mean, it was great, but the place he was staying is just filled with rats.
Yeah.
Makes sense. All right. Well, I killed that.
Like you said, expectations were so low, and you knocked it out of the park.
All right. Well, that's only been we're only 4 minutes and 30 seconds in. This is
That's
doing
okay.
great.
But guys, okay, so for future, we are excited because podcast coming up. We have some great ideas and some great. Well, I shouldn't say some because we only have one kind of confirmed guest.
Oh yes.
You know what?
Well, I was gonna say speaking of guests, there may be a very special guest in a video coming up.
Oh, but not a podcast, but
No,
a video.
no.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, it got me excited.
Yeah, that's I understand. But we've only had like sort of internal guests, like for our friends.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this person is a friend. I'm not gonna say who they are yet because.
Wait, have you told me this?
Yeah,
I was about to say I'm trying to tag along, play along. I have no clue who
he
you're
has
talking
no
about.
idea what's going on, which is great because either do you guys now.
Yeah.
But the whole point to say we have a really fun guest coming on soon. We're thinking about other fun ways to make the podcast video itself to be really exciting.
Yes.
And maybe a YouTube guest soon. So,
YouTube.
all things to look forward to. Should we dive into our topic today?
Well, does this answer your question?
You serious?
All right, let's do
Look,
it.
Hyper recorded a very special sound effect. We're going to play. Oh, not yet?
Not yet.
Okay, but
It'll-
he recorded one
it'll
specifically
happen.
for you guys.
I'm sure.
So, what do we do when YouTube videos don't go according to plan? Or how has that happened in the past? What
Yeah,
does
what-
that look like?
What do you mean according to plan? What's the worst that could happen? Not according to plan.
The worst, that's a good point. What's the worst that could happen? That's a good way to look at it. For us, because when we upload YouTube videos, our goal usually is we obviously we want to make the best content we can, get the most views we can. So we want to achieve 1 million views on a video. If we can do that, that video, it killed it. So for us, that's usually our goal and what we try to do when we make content.
Yep.
And sometimes, not a lot of times, but sometimes we'll go through the whole process. We think we have a really good idea. Obviously, Rick and Josh spend a lot of time editing and then
Plan it all out.
plan it all out.
everything.
We upload it. We're really stoked, and then not so good results. Those type of results. Oofs.
So, for right off the bat, there's two things really early on you can do if that starts to just tank after you've already filmed everything and uploaded it, obviously. There is title and
Thumbnail. So that's stuff we do immediately. Well, not immediately, but the first reaction. For example, the Among Us in Real Life video, when did we film it? That was probably 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah.
3 months ago. We were really excited because Among Us was really popular. And we were like, oh, we're going to be one of the first people to do the in real life version. We were doing it at night at our property. We filmed it. We thought it turned out great.
yeah.
We uploaded it and it didn't really do well with views.
No.
And we got kind of discouraged.
Not at the time, though.
Right, at the time. But to what you're saying, we went back in, we said, okay, let's change up the thumbnail, make it look different, change up the title slightly. And now the video has over 1 million views. So, but
that goes probably to another kind of subtopic of, is it, in your opinion, is it still count? Is it still satisfaction, goal met if the 1 million views happens, I don't know, a significant time after it's uploaded?
I would say so because we took action to change the results.
Yeah.
I think if we would just let it sit and then it didn't actually achieve the 1 million, that would be sort of a disappointment.
Yeah.
But in the immediate, being disappointed in the results, that can be a challenge that you kind of have to deal with. And
There was other things we did with that video too, behind the scenes after, once we were assessing it, because it wasn't 2 weeks later, it's 1 million. It was maybe a month, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
uh-huh.
But I think we started discussing what didn't work? What could have not worked about? Sometimes it's just hey, you can't overanalyze it. It just didn't work, or it was just wrong timing, But I think one of the things we noticed was even though the whole awesomeness about it was that it was at night, it was also really hard to know what was always going on and where you were because it was so dark, But.
Definitely. But I forgot what I was going to say.
Activities. There it was.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about this.
Being disappointed.
Yes.
Because I'm sure a lot of you listening and watching have been disappointed at something in your life. So, yeah.
Well, it kind of brings up the point. What do you do in general, whether it's a YouTube video, whether you're doing something artistic, or just in general, and your expectations are oh, this is going to absolutely dominate. I'm going to kill the sentence game. And and then it turns out that Seth doesn't know how to play very well.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
going back to what you were saying about analyzing, I think when it comes to YouTube or just in life in general, when something doesn't pan out the way you want it to, being able to go back and say, oh, what could I have done different? Or what's something that next time I can do better to achieve like whatever results you want to do, whether you're maybe training for something.
Yeah, learning from it is huge.
You know, you have to.
But that only applies if you're planning on doing it for the long haul. If you're planning on making like one video that gets 30 million views, and if it doesn't, then like, well, I guess I'm a failure. Well, then that's, learning from it is no part of your equation.
Yeah.
But usually, I'm sure that doesn't happen to most people. So
yeah. But that's how you get better at anything. So that's how you are able to get better results in whatever it is you're doing, is to analyze from failures.
Yeah.
In a way. So that's key to do. And that's definitely with stuff that we do, because if we're disappointed in a video or whatever, even my default is to not just sulk and just be like, oh, it just didn't get enough views as I thought it would.
Yeah.
And then the next video usually probably won't be as good if I'm like kind of disappointed. So being able to look at that video that didn't perform well and say, oh, well, if we would just maybe swap these scenes around or like kind of cut this better, maybe had a different vision for the title and thumbnail, it would have done better. Then that like kind of actually gets me more excited to film another video. It's like, okay, well, I've learned a lot of stuff just by looking at these quote unquote negative results, and I can apply them and get better at it.
Well, and then I think it's healthy too to do the opposite as well. It's like, okay, what did we love about, like, why did we do this in the first place? Like for Among Us, it was fun. It was so much fun filming. Like it was hilarious. And like there were some things that I thought we executed really well. Like that's an intricate game at night with a bunch of people who had never played, and we just did it. I thought there was some good things there that, like, instead of being like, well, yeah, we were just awful. Everything was bad about that. Like, gosh, that was the dumbest idea we could ever. And it was like, well, that's not healthy criticism, but like, yeah, maybe doing it at night or like having people talk over each other or whatever it was, like, and then really on the other side of that though, it does help to know from my perspective, like if we're not going to do it again anyway, then really that changes how you analyze it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if it's like, oh, okay, well, if it's one thing if it's like, well, we're going to do two more of these Among Us videos. So what can we change versus, okay, for the future video, whether it's Among Us or not, what didn't work about this? Now let's learn, but let's not dog on it for the next, 2 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. But, those are good points.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. No more sound effects.
Oh, darn.
But yeah, I mean, just in general, just not getting too low on things, even when your expectations are so high or wherever they are, just when things don't pan out the way they are, because nothing is ever going to be perfect. So there's no way you're ever going to achieve level 100. You might get 98, maybe 99 if you're really meticulous, but there's no way you can get like 100.
What is the line for you that you would say, okay, that you're just like running into the ground in the sense of like, okay, you've got a new video idea, or let's just say you've got an old video idea that you're going to say, I'm going to keep doing this even though it's not doing too well. At what point do you go, this is ridiculous, this is insanity? Or at what point do you go, well, hey, I'm doing this because I like it? Or what's the balance there that you go, oh, don't worry, like if we keep doing this the 7th time, eventually it will, like, have you ever believed in one of these series or videos so much that you're like, hey, I don't care, we got to do this, we got to keep doing this?
Very good point. So first up, I was actually listening to another YouTuber talk about sort of like this rule of thumb of doing sort of like an 80-20, where it's like 80% of your content is more along those lines of like, just, it's going to perform, this is like what the algorithm wants and yada, yada, yada. And the other 20% is more of like stuff that you maybe are more personally passionate about. It's like, if it performs well or not, it doesn't matter, because it's like, oh, I just wanted to do this video.
Yeah.
So that's what he suggested for like sort of that balance in that world. But back to what you're saying, for me, like for anybody, it's like you can get maybe caught up in your emotions a little too much of like, oh, I just really believe in this project.
Yeah.
But for me, it's really beneficial to fall back and look at data and just be like, okay, so what like actually is like the data and like the analytics like saying about this? So if I can go back there and like pick out specific things that did well in the analytics, and it's like, okay, maybe let's focus the next video that highlight and do the analytics well. But if there's like a video where it's just like down on like literally every data point, it's like for me, even if I was passionate about it, like, well, maybe I'll move on to something else maybe next time.
Yeah. That's good. Because I think and then it opens up a whole different conversation too when you go like, okay, faith-wise, like, I mean, you could argue whether it's money or whatever. Like, obviously, faith is on a different playing field. So it's like, sometimes you won't see results in faith tangibly.
Yeah.
But you do them anyway because it honors the Lord. And so that's always interesting going into like an artistic, creative environment with analytics, because YouTube is a very analytical, like, environment. So what do you do there when it's like, okay, I feel like, is there anything like that where you're like, maybe I feel like this will honor the Lord, but analytics don't favor that very well. Like, is there anything like that where you've run into, you go, I know this won't do well, but I want to do it anyway. Like, is there an example of that where you're like, oh, we did video X?
I'm trying to think, because I don't know if there's been too many videos where it's like we knew it was going to completely fail, but like, oh, this is like so, like God honoring.
Yeah.
Because for me, just like in my prayer life and stuff too, it's like I know like God obviously wants like our videos to be successful, right? So I feel like a lot of ideas that even I have, like the team has, it's like if it's a good idea that's going to perform analytically well, that's like, oh, that just kind of came out of left field. Not really left field, but it's like inspiration from the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
But back to what you're saying, I feel like the giveaway budget challenge, I wouldn't say that like was a failure, but it was like the whole premise was like, oh, we're just going to give back, because it's like, I think that's important for just anybody, whatever position you're in and doing, to like give back. So we're like, yeah, we just feel like this is a good time to like give back.
Yeah.
Whether that video did 1 million or 1 view, it was like, well, we wanted to do that video.
Yeah, that's dope. One question. Random one.
No random questions.
Well, it's not that random. You said it.
Oh man.
You said you feel like God wants the videos to do well. How do you know? Like, and why?
Good question. Because I feel like our position we're in is sort of like his like calling for our lives to just make, fun content to make people smile. And I know he wouldn't want our videos to fail because, different scriptures of just like how he loves us and stuff. And, like gifts from your Father.
Yeah.
It wouldn't really make sense in my eyes for him to be like, no, I want this video to fail because X, Y, Z. But it's like, if there's a way that he can accomplish what he wants in our lives, but also a successful video, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I don't know. I'm here to ask questions. Yeah, I think, I'm always curious about that. I'm sure there's people that are curious about that too, where it's like, does God, I've always asked that for myself, like to what degree, I know God cares about us, and I know he can do that without caring about our work,
right?
And about like our quote unquote physical earthly work here on earth, and so to what degree, I think he does want us to be successful, but in honoring him and pursuing him. So I think we do that in those videos. So if so facto, then it's, he wants the videos to succeed because that's a part of growing, people's appreciation for God honoring content, and hopefully people just honoring God in general. But, it's kind of one of those deals where it's like, it's a slippery slope too, in some ways, where it's like, well, God wants all, there are several creators obviously that like love the Lord and do great content, but God doesn't necessarily say, well, that needs to be, 5 million people need to watch that,
True. And even to that point, it's like a successful video is like, that's so arbitrary.
Subjective. Yeah.
Yeah. So like in our eyes, like maybe a video that we didn't think was very successful might have been like super successful in God's eyes and like what it accomplished for his will. You know what I mean? So,
well, and it's the different seasons too. I mean, I was talking to, I don't know if I was talking to you or Rick, but Rick was telling me about how, was it last year around this time? Like basically the views were in half and that was epic.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, I mean, according to him, it was like, oh, we got 300K. Yes. Do it again.
Yeah.
You know, redo that video. Yeah. But like, that was our channel. It wasn't like, oh, well, we would never do that. It was like, oh yes, you know, for January that was epic, you know. But I want that was gonna set, because one of the things I wanted to ask about this segment is for like people that let's say you've got like under 1K subscribers or whatever it is, you know, like how do you how do you know what is successful? Like, is there kind of a formula-ish thing that we can go, oh, this is what JStu does, and based on their numbers, obviously, but can you like whittle that down to, let's just say you had 1,000, and this would apply kind of in a similar way, you know, to what's successful. What is successful
for a YouTube success? I would say I've always had this in mind, where if you upload a video and that gets more views than you have subscribers, then I would say that video is successful.
Really?
Yeah. So if you had, like you're saying, 1,000 subscribers, but you uploaded a video and it got 2,500 views.
Wow.
Like,
yeah,
that's big. That's big stuff.
That makes sense.
That's my rule of thumb.
I like it. I like it. I'm write it down.
Okay. On your thumb though, because it's a rule of thumb.
Okay. Oh, rule of thumb.
Yeah. I want to say one more thing about what you're saying, like if God wants our videos to be successful and how do we know? I was at church, this was probably maybe like a year ago, but the worship leader was talking about like singing and like worship and stuff, and he made the point that it's like God wants to hear like your specific voice, even if you can't sing worth a blink. It's he like just wants to hear like your voice.
That's good.
And I'm like, so like that type of stuff like just shows me that it, you know, and he cares about like what we're doing, not necessarily like our work, how it's like the specific work is great, but it's like, no, I want to hear your voice. I want to see your creativity. I want to see you just, you know,
doing it for
thrive.
the Lord is more important than, you know, it being successful in another form. Like, cause even, I mean, you know, like the song that I released today, like, you know, for those who don't know, Andrew messaged me. He was like, I'm praying for this song, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, like it reminds, we've been praying like for a couple weeks or maybe a month leading up to this song. There's like other songs dropping that we were like, man, we really want God to move and do this. And like, really like at the end of the day, I've been asking myself, what am I going to do? Like if Friday hits, I don't get in on any playlists. I don't get anything. Like there's like, this is like in most secular eyes is like a dud, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Really?
Yeah. It said no playlist, no nothing. But I mean, it's anyway, but what I've discovered is like, it's still a success. Like it's still a success because the whole lead up, I never done that. I usually just pray like the night before, like, hey Lord, you know, I'm dropping a song and this is cool. But what God allowed me to do is like the month leading up, I engaged friends and family and myself to unite with God and to bless the song. Someone's going to hear this. I don't know what's going to happen, but God's going to be honored by it because I gave it to him instead of like, well, it only got, 1K and a couple, it's like, well, that doesn't matter. What matters is that you've gifted it to God. It's like a sacrifice. It's like, who cares if you had like the most epic, it's like when Jesus talks to the Pharisees, like, okay, you're going to tithe the cumin and all these spices, but that's fine to tithe every little bit, but you don't take care of the poor and the sick and spend time with me. You should do both, do all the excess, get all the, in other words, get all the stats you want and, be successful on YouTube, but still spend time with me because that's more important. And I feel like that's what I'm learning from all of this.
Great. Love it. And I think, even when you're talking too, it just made me realize too that it's like, here's me and like, here's God. If we're not spending time together, like my view of success is going to be way off than what he is. But like the more time we spend together, we come closer like this to where it's like, my view of success is going to be the same as his because we're walking together. And then and when it's at that point, then it's really fun.
Yeah. And if I just, you just got to ask yourself, like, if for me, and a lot of my friends, like, it's just like, got to ask yourself, what would actually make you satisfied? And if you can, usually for a couple seconds, you can be like, oh, this. Yeah. And then you ask yourself, like, imagine yourself getting that. Would you really be satisfied? And a lot of times for me, it's like, no, I can't stop. Like, for a minute I was like, man, it'd be epic just to have, like, get a playlist on Spotify one time. Yeah. And that'd be so cool. Like, curated by Spotify. I've done that. And now if I'll just get one on a song, I'll be disappointed. Mm-hmm. It's like, why?
Yeah.
But I mean, again, part of that is like aspirations and growth. And that's kind of how God wired, us to be like, oh, I want more, I want to grow and conquer and adventure and this and that. But there is an element where it can be over, where it's just like, oh, well, this video isn't good. Or that's not good. Nothing's good enough. Well, because part of that is designed, I think, that God designs you to need Him more than you need any other success. But just a thought.
I like that thought.
Yeah. Activities!
And even just going back to, like, since, like, YouTube, like you're saying for us, like last year, like a video getting, like, 300,000 views was really cool.
Yeah.
But it's like you're saying, as you grow, like as our business is growing, it's like that need for, like a little bit higher view count to, like, support sort of like,
sure,
this is just like practical, like worlds going on, but it's like,
it's just logical. There's a logical element to that too. It's like,
it's like just being a good steward of your business. It's like, if we don't take time to look at analytics and we don't grow from like things that aren't as successful as others, then your business isn't going to thrive as well as it could.
And it's just such a trippy thing for me, like, because there's always like, well, all you need is God. Well, yeah, but He's also given you this job and responsibility, and He's also made you creative. But all you need is God. But He likes to see you succeed. It's like, what? What do I do?
One thing I think I've learned in life is to never be so far on one end of the spectrum on whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, if you have any question, most of the time it's like, hey, there's a medium here.
Yeah,
it's like, don't go down that path too far. Don't go down that way too far. But right here is
that's
good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, dang it. Still
that's the bad joke button.
I mean, I'm not going to press another one.
But yeah, I mean, just to wrap it up, like for people who maybe aren't doing YouTube.
Yeah.
What takeaway? Give them a takeaway.
What are you talking about?
Let's say Samantha watching had a piano recital and she completely bombed it.
Just butchered.
What
the piano
next?
Recital. For me, because I would just rip myself internally. I'd be like so disappointed in myself and like think that everyone thought that everyone just dogged on me. Andrew even brought it up in the podcast. Dadgummit, But what I would do is I'd try to reset. David does this a lot in the Psalms, is reset what is true about God and what that means is true about me. I would love to say that I do that every time I'm disappointed or I have a huge epic fail, but most of the time what I do is I just hone in on the fail and dog on myself for the next day until I'm over it. But what I should be doing is like, wait a minute, how did God view that recital? Like, I doubt He was in the audience throwing tomatoes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Boo! Get off the stage! This is obnoxious teenager. No, just reminding yourself of that. And because at the end of the day, there have been times, I remember when I was in acting and I would do like a show in theater, and my standards, I would mess up on this or that. My parents would run, like, after everything was over, they come up like, you killed it, it was awesome, blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't enjoy it. I was so frustrated that I didn't make it perfect or I didn't do what I wanted to do or whatever, that I missed that, like, well, your parents came to see you. Your parents, like, did all that. Your family did all this and loved you, and they said it was epic. They don't care. They don't, And so at what point, I don't know if you'll ever be satisfied if you don't just know how God views it. Your takeaway?
That was a good takeaway. So here's our one sentence takeaway. If you oof, do a reset.
Press the button? Oh, okay.
This one. No. This one.
Yes. If you oof, do a reset.
Uh-huh.
Wish it would rhyme.
You can remold it. Those are the bone structures.
If you mess, do a reset. No.
That's not how you pronounce that word.
If you... Wow. We need to call Gamestop or something.
We should call GameStop. See what they think.
Yes. We need to get advice from GameStop. What have we been doing?
This whole time, you guys have been like, where's GameStop?
I'm sorry.
And we apologize. But guess what? They're coming up right now.
Why listen to us when you can listen to them? Are you talking to them or me?
You can talk to them. I'll just give them a ring.
Oh, man.
For calling GameStop, where you can pick up Mario 3D World. My name is Scott. How can I help you?
Hey, Scott. This is Seth. You are on here with the Laugh Daily podcast. Just wanted to see if you had any advice for those who mess up, and when they mess up, what to do to kind of turn it around.
In what sense? Like, what are we talking about here?
Could be gaming, could be at work, could be anything.
I mean, a good dose of positivity and gratitude goes a long way, I suppose.
I love that.
You know, I guess trying to figure out where you screwed up and what opportunities for growth you have going forward, and try not to make the same mistake twice.
That's good. That's good. Do you have like any specific examples you want to give, or like just any other words?
No, man, I think I'm good. You're kind of putting me on the spot here.
No.
This is not what I was expecting when
Scott,
I picked up the phone.
You are killing it, man. You are epic. Well, thank you so much.
Of course, man. You have a good rest of your day.
You too. And remember, laugh daily.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Hey, for being on the spot, he came up with something pretty
Yeah.
good.
Scott didn't question it at all.
He's like, well, we're on the podcast. I guess full send.
Oh, man. That never ceases to amaze me. I'm thinking mid-sentence he's going to hang up. Nope. Well. I thought he was going to say, instead of putting me on the spot, I thought he was going to be like, why are you asking me that? Like, but he was like, to be honest, you put me on the spot, man. I don't know how to answer these questions.
I feel like a lot of time, the GameStop employees, like, they just want to talk to people about something other than gaming.
That's why their stocks go through the roof at times.
Leave a like for GameStop.
Yep. What? Well, you said you were going to sing a song to end us out.
I did not. But right.
Activities. Oh,
we need an outro song, so
okay.
Thank you for watching and listening the Laugh Daily podcast and reviewing on Apple
What?
podcast things.
And remember, when you
Oof, do a reset.
You are welcome.
All right. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. No more sound effects.
Okay. Just
But
one.
You can say bye.
Hey, bye. Well, thank you for watching. And thank you for... Hey, also, comment why in the world isn't Justin here? and you know, like, just roast him in the comments.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll love that.
Yeah, he'll be encouraged.
For sure.
And then he'll learn from his mistakes. And when he oofs, he needs to reset.
That's right. And we'll make sure he does.
Or else.
And don't forget to have some coffee today. Why'd you say that?
I didn't say that.
We'll see you on the next episode.
Why do we need coffee?